Beautiful. And with that, we'll begin. Wonderful to see so many people here from so many places around the world in the UK, EU, US, Canada, and elsewhere. And we'll begin today's Solidarity Network meeting of the Green Olive Solidarity Network, a global advocacy and mutual aid network working in solidarity with Palestinian communities in the West Bank and toward the end of the occupation. Through this network and its local solidarity circles, we work to maintain sustained relationships of solidarity with Palestinians, amplify the voices of activists living in the occupied West Bank, and directly support the steadfastness of Palestinian communities in the face of military rule. Since we met with Fatma Nawaja last month, members of this network, I'm glad to say, have participated in solidarity kite flying events as part of a global week of action in over 10 countries around the world, including the US, Canada, Italy, Scotland, New Zealand, Germany, England, Belgium, Chile, France, and Palestine. I'm excited to share more about the festival and the kite flying in Burin at the end of this meeting. But for now, I am especially and very glad and appreciative to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Awdah Hathaleen, who is here with us today. Auda is a longstanding justice advocate and has been documenting home demolitions, settler attacks, and human rights violations in Masafer Yatta for many years as part of broader efforts to counter settler violence, land expropriation, and forced transfer. As some of you may have heard, US authorities deported Auda and fellow Umm Il-Kheir resident Eid Suleiman from the San Francisco International Airport last month and detained them for over 24 hours as friends, elected officials, faith leaders, and protesters called for their release. We are honored to join with Auda today to hear more about recent events, his experience with border security in the US, and the steadfastness of communities in Masafer Yatta in the face of military rule. In a bit, I'll also, I think, share my screen and locate Umm Il-Kheir on a map and show pictures and videos Auda and others in Umm Il-Kheir have sent recently of developments, of attacks, and ongoing events. But for now, I'll pass it right away to Auda and ask you, Auda, to introduce yourself and share who you are, where you're from, where's your family friend. Many people on this call, I'm happy to say, know you well and are dear friends, but also many people here are meeting you for the first time. So I'd love for you to just say hello and say more about who you are. Are you there and can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Do you hear me good?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, for inviting me for this call. I mean, in the last minute, I succeeded to join because the situation here. My name is Awdah Hathaleen. I'm a human rights activist, and I'm one of the people who live here in Il-Kheir, an English teacher, and also like a father of 3 young boys. I'm really happy to be with you guys today. I'm happy to see some faces who I really know, and also like inshallah, I wish that it will be like a good call for all of us, and inshallah, I will be able to tell you everything about the situation. I don't know from where to start. I didn't prepare anything for this meeting. As usual, I have never prepared anything, but because of what's going on everywhere, I don't know from where to start. Start to talk about the history of my village. Start to talk about the problems before 7th of October or after 7th of October. Start to talk about like what we think about activism in general, how we look to our future. There is a lot to say. There is a lot to share, but yeah, just really quickly, here in Il-Kheir, we are 37 families, around 220 people. All of the people here nowadays, like, let me say that more than, like 95% of them born here in this village. And we all were living in Arad, which is south from here, and we got transferred from our land in 1994. In 1948, and when the catastrophe took place. So we got transferred to this land. We came here, we bought this land. I'm talking about my ancestors. We bought this land, and in that time we were lucky and like intelligent people because they got all of the papers, all of the documents which prove that this land is a Palestinian land, from that time, and even the name of the people we bought from, all of the land papers we got them. We lived here our normal Bedouin life until 1982. In 1982, they started to build all of these Israeli settlements around, which is illegal. All of the settlements here, and the problems started. It started, I mean, like with preventing people from getting water, preventing people from getting electricity, and also like the demolition. Al-Kheir people, we are not allowed, for example, to get enough water. We are not allowed to get enough electricity, and the demolition here, it's one of our nightmares because uh, since 2007, it was the first demolition process. Since 2007 until today, we faced more than 19 demolition process. And we are talking about 108 structures got destroyed. We are talking about more than 85% of the people experienced the demolition here. We are talking about more than 52% of our children, through the last statistic, which we did with one of the Palestinian NGOs, see nightmares. The demolition is really crazy, is really hard, because easily they come without telling you. They come early morning, mostly Mondays and Wednesdays. They come with a lot of forces, with a lot of bulldozers, with army, with border police, with the Israeli civil administration. They come to your house, destroy your house in front of yourself, in front of your eyes, in front of your children. Everyone is looking. You cannot do anything. You cannot even resist. You cannot even resist the demolition. So it's a really crazy. And yeah, in Al-Kheir here, before 7th of October, we, the people here in Al-Kheir, we faced the demolition. Before 7th of October, we got attacked. Before 7th of October, our land got stolen. And before 7th of October, they killed our leader, Haj Suleiman. They killed our leader, our teacher, our guide, the man who was giving hope for everyone, the only source of hope which we had. They just, killed him. And even we were not able or allowed, to just, do a normal funeral for him because of the numbers of the people who were here and because of the threats which we got. But yeah, I mean, we still, keep going. We still continuing, on our non-violent resistance, and the thing which we believe in the thing which Has Suleiman, our leader, believed in before. So after 7th of October, everything got to be the worst, because yeah, I mean, Al-Kheir people, for example, I mean, in the beginning of the war, our village got raided more than 40 times, more than 18 times of them in a row. And after that, they separated the villages from each other. They closed, some of the entrances, and in some days. And also, it was a nightmare for you as a Palestinian human to go, for example, to the city to buy medicine, to buy food. It was unbelievable. It was something really hard that you cannot even go. And I personally lived that. I remember, going to a city. Usually, it will take you, an hour, even less than that. But during the war, if the entrances are closed, it will take at least 5 hours, and you don't know what will happen. Maybe they will detain you. They will arrest you. They maybe they will take the key of your car, which is like a new strategy in Masafer Yatta, that once they catch your car, they just take your key, your ID, and then they go. And you will be waiting hours and hours until, if they want to come back to give you the key, they come. If not, you have to find any way, to take your car. We faced a lot of different attacks here in Al-Kheir after 7th of October. We started to see real physical attacks from, the settlers who are living around. And in Al-Kheir here, there is the Israeli settlement, which is west of us, and there is, a new outpost, which is east of us. So the settlement here behind us, they don't do, that physical attack, but they steal land. They, provoke you, prevent you from going, close the roads, everything they can do, they do. And the other ones, in the outpost, there is no law for them. There is no rule. So they attack the people here many times, and they cause a lot of different troubles for the people. Here in Al-Kheir, for example, 2/3 of the people here, they are, like shepherds, and they depend on animals, I mean, like to get their incomes. You will not believe this, but since 7th of October, I mean, before 7th of October, we had here more than, like 800 sheep and goats for the people here, for, I mean, like these 20 people for these 37 families. Nowadays, we have 140. 140. My family is one of the families that we don't have any sheep anymore, because there is no fields to go, that if you go anywhere that you will be attacked. They took your fields, and worse than that, they bring their animals to graze them inside your village, and you cannot say anything. And also, like a few months ago, for the ones who are, I mean, like following what's happening in Kheir, they just like stole a land, and they created, like an olive tree inside the village behind our community center. They created, like an olive grove on a Palestinian land exactly behind our community center. So they come, like every week, at least 2-3 times, they come to pray there on their Shabbat. They come, like also like to just like sit there and to pray, like to pray there, sometimes to cook. Sometimes they bring the kids, their like their families, and all of the time, like they are carrying their guns, passing from the village. And I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked by the way that the young ones who are 12, 13, I mean, the young ones, the way they think about, I mean, like the Palestinians, the way they think about, for example, the people of Kheir. Before you talk with any one of them, before you do anything for any one of them, because even if you wanna do, we believe in non-violent resistance, but even if you wanna, I mean, like try to protect yourself from them, you will not be allowed. But these ones, they are really full of hate and racism against the Palestinians. And, like they have an idea protect, like the country land. It's like a state land. They declare, like any decision they want, whenever they want. And yeah, I mean, we started to see settlers, they are working at night, stealing more land, putting new fences. So Kheir now, like we only have our houses. Literally, we only have our houses, and even if you are in your house, you are not, like safe. You are not safe, because anything can happen. I personally, for example, like a few months ago, I mean, the settlers broke my wife's hand, and I mean, what happened after that? We complained, nothing happened. All of the time we call the police. We see any attack. Before the attack happened, we call the police, we call the army, we call everyone we know, we message everyone we know. The police all the time say, okay, like they come, like, oh, go to fill a complaint in the police station. And we filled hundreds of complaints in the police station. And like the army, they will never remember this and hear this from a Palestinian on the ground. The army will never be, like on a Palestinian side. They will never believe a Palestinian against a settler. All of the time, like they just like prevent the Palestinians, kick them away, push them, whatever. And like the settlers are free to do everything. Just a few weeks ago, the settlers started, like to expand the settlement which is here. So early morning, we started, like to hear that the settlers are outside of the settlement. They are expanding the fence of the settlement. And once we go there, we found them working, and they expanded the fence 24 meters, which is really crazy. Our almond trees, our olive trees, all of our trees, like they took. And immediately, I mean, it was kind of a miss situation. And at the end, I mean, like we succeeded to lead them back 20 meters. So anyway, they stole 4 meters. So yeah, it's really hard to deal with this. Here in Kheir, every day, there is something going to happen. We don't know when, we don't know why, we don't know what. But there is something will happen 100%. Today, for example, it was quiet all of the day. At the end of the day, I mean, we got shocked when we saw like a settlers brought a really big bulldozer and they park it here inside the village. And tomorrow they're going to work. Where they will work, what they will do, No one knows. So the people, like, this is our life, which is, in my opinion, it's not a life anymore. To be honest and to be really clear, because there is no safety. You don't know what will happen. I mean, I remember, and what I know that all of the time, like, if the people pass something hard, then, like, they wish that the rest of the days will be, I mean, like, good days. No, here is different. Here is different. Like, you deal with something hard, and then, like, there is something harder will happen. So it's really hard. Our future is really dark. It's like a black tunnel. There is no lights in it. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. We really got tired. No one is okay. And even, I mean, like, we try to write as much as we can, but also, like, we got tired from writing. We got tired from just passing and telling bad news. Um, we thought about, like, all of the ideas. We thought about all of the options. They made it really hard. I mean, even before 7th of October, we believed that one day, like, justice will take a place, and, uh, like, we will see good days. But nowadays, like, I don't know what will happen. Yeah. So just now, I mean, while I'm talking with you guys, just now, like, I got a message from my community here that the settlers passed here from the village just now, from the village as usual, and, like, they are by by their cars, like, they are bothering the people, making, like, a big noise for everyone. And I don't know what's the best way to stop them. What's the best way to stop them? We went to the court, yes, we did. We complained, yes, we did. We talked to the world outside, yes, we did. We asked about international activists, yes, we did. So yeah, they made it, I mean, like, harder than what we can deal with. But what I believe in, we the Palestinians, I mean, maybe the word Palestinian, like, bother them. We the humans of Al-Kheir, we the real humans of Al-Kheir, we are just asking about, like, our justice. We want to be safe. We want to be, I don't want to be better than anyone else. But let us be equal. Let us be equal with the others. I want to be equal with everyone. I want to be, I want to get my rights. I want to be safe. I want to tell my family that, okay, nothing going to happen tomorrow. Let us go, I mean, like, for a trip or whatever. Let us do everything we want. Nothing going to happen tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go to the city, I have to organize with all of the people here in the village, because we cannot all live in one day. It's crazy. It's really crazy, because yeah, you live in houses. You have no guarantee if this house will be exist tomorrow. No one knows. No one guarantee this. I mean, literally, our houses, like, can destroy it any moment. Settlers can attack you any moment. Settlers can just, like, burn your car any moment. Settlers can just, like, I mean, like, raid your house any moment. Just, I mean, like, one of our latest problems here, which we face, the settlers. I mean, they come sit behind our houses. Imagine settlers, they come sit behind our houses, say a lot of bad words for our women, like, do a lot of bad signs, shouting to the people, using the lights against the people. And the army is there, the Israeli civil administration came 2 times, the police is there. And I don't know. I mean, we the Palestinians here, we the humans here, we are fighting the settlers, we are fighting the Israeli civil administration, we are fighting the Israeli army, we are fighting the Israeli police, and we are fighting also the Israeli racist organizations. So we are fighting, like, the occupation by I mean, like, five sides. And yeah, I mean, here in Kheir, for example, I mean, how many attacks did we receive from the settlers and from, I mean, uh, the army or the police since years and years? But also, like, how many attacks did we do? Nothing, literally nothing. We didn't do anything. All of our reactions, all of the times, just like non-violent reactions. Try to let them understand, I mean, like, what's going on. And unfortunately, like, they don't have the courage even to listen to you, because, like, they don't want to get convinced, and they don't want to find that, yeah, oh, like all of the things in our minds is totally wrong. So they are really scared and worried, I mean, like, to get to that point. But yeah, I mean, as I said, we the Palestinians here, we are just like simple people seeking about our simple rights. But unfortunately, we are in a time that our main rights became a dreams. I mean, if you come here to the village of Kheir, which is, I mean, like, one of the most famous village here in Masafer Yatta, and it's a really known village. If you come to the people here and ask them, what their dreams are, all of them will mention, okay, we want to get rid of the settlers. We want to be sure that the settlers will not come to our houses. We want to be sure that the Israeli civil administration will not destroy our houses. And yeah, we are ready to live in a tent. We are ready to live in tents. One time I wrote, I will be happy if the Israeli civil administration destroy my house once a year. And yeah, many people were criticizing and blaming for. I mean, how come a Palestinian human rights? I mean, like, saying something. Yeah, I mean, I really meant that. I mean, if I know that, for example, this house will be destroyed, for example, in November or whatever, I will prepare myself. But I'm living this feeling every day and night. Like, there is no way that they will give you a permit because they said you are close to an Israeli settlement, and for security reason, you are not going to get a permit to build. But I'm here 30 years before the settlement. So yeah, it's really complicated. It's really complicated. But I mean, we the Palestinians, we think, like, it's the time for everyone, I mean, like, to act, to do something for the Palestinians. And I mean, I personally, in my personal opinion, I think, I mean, like, being in solidarity with the Palestinians is nice, but it's enough. It's enough. We need people to act for the Palestinian justice. We need people to do something, I mean, like, on the ground. I mean, there are Jewish friends I know since 2016, 2015, and they were working with the Palestinians on the ground. I mean, they were on the first line. They got arrested. They got detained. But yeah, I mean, they changed something. They changed something. And yeah, I mean, also, like, they proved to us, and they proved to us that, yeah, like, I mean, we look to the people as humans. We are not against religions or colors or nationalities. So yeah, I mean, it's important to have people. It's important to have friends everywhere who share your stories, who just, like, stand and shout for you, whatever they can. Every single one of us can do something. So yeah, if we start to work together, if we do everything we can, maybe we will help, because I think, in my personal opinion, it's the last time to do something for the Palestinian. It's really the last chance, because I mean, like, with this Israeli government, with this, I mean, like, settlers attacks everywhere in the West Bank, we don't know how the situation will be after, like, a month or 2 months or 3 months. But they kidnapped Palestinians and they killed them, uprooted the trees, destroyed houses, and it, like, they have a green light to do everything they want. Yeah, so yeah, sorry again for just, like, I mean, like, saying all of these bad things, but this is the reality. This is what's happening. And once you are here on this call with Aries, and I mean, once you are here, this means that you care. This means that you want to act for justice. So this is the reality. And be sure what I have just described to you guys, what I have just told you guys, is less than 5% from what we are facing here in Kheir. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Auda. And in just a bit, we'll open up the conversation and allow people to ask questions. You shared so much that's so difficult to hear and speaks to such a difficult reality that all of us in our different places around the world are contending with. The difficulty that all of us, wherever we are, don't know how to stop what's happening in this minute, and the things you described happening in the last few minutes, in the last hours, in the last days and years in Umm Il-Kheir, Masafer Yatta, the West Bank, Gaza. But I can say for myself that one of the few things that I know brings me a path forward is bringing people to talk to you, to talk to the people in the communities who have been my teachers, who have been my friends. And I guess just to give people a little bit of context here for the work that Green Olive does with Umm Il-Kheir and Masafer Yatta, and also work that a collective I'm also a part of called All That's Left on the Ground has done for decades. I think for me, um, even with the incredible catastrophe and anguish of this moment, one of my favorite things to do in the world is bring people to talk with Auda, and if people haven't met Auda before, to bring them to meet him for the first time. For me, I think having arrived on the ground and to Jerusalem and to do solidarity and protective presence work in the West Bank for the first time in 2015 and 2016, it was really with the community of Umm and with Auda and Tariq and a few others, Eid, who we've also spoken to on these monthly calls, um, that I began to understand the depth of friendships, relationships, and co-resistance that's possible, a level of trust and solidarity and facing the reality together that I didn't know was possible beforehand. So I'm glad and honored today to be joined by Auda and to also be inviting everyone here into that continued sustained solidarity, relationship, co-resistance that Auda and the people of Umm and Masafer Yatta have first and foremost spearheaded, cultivated, developed, and nourished in incredible ways over the last decades, despite the most adverse conditions and despite the fiercest attempts of the occupation regime to cut them off from the world, from grassroots networks around the world, from justice communities, from diplomatic solidarity and support. So being together today across borders, across the context that we're in solidarity against the occupation is important. And I think quickly, before I'll turn it back to you, Ada, I wanted to share my screen like I mentioned before and show people exactly where Auda is calling from today. Um, and maybe show you what it would be like if we together were going to visit Auda and Umm Il-Kheir on the ground. So one moment while I share my screen. Auda, can you see this?
Yes.
Great. Let me see if this works. So just so people can see here, of course, if we zoom out is the West Bank and Masafer Yatta, or the Yatta district, is in the very south of the West Bank. This series of hamlets, 1920 villages, Auda, correct me anytime if I have the numbers wrong, is in the very south of the West Bank, southeast of the city of Yatta here, and Hebron above it, or Khalil in Arabic. And as discussed before in Green Isle Solidarity Network meetings, and when, as you heard about when you spoke with Tariq and Eid from Umm Il-Kheir, Fatma and Ahmed from Susia, Ali from Tuba, as we've learned from our different partners on the ground, the plan of the occupation regime is to displace the communities of Masafer Yatta here to the cities of Yatta and Hebron, and in general to displace Palestinians in Area C, the agricultural districts of the West Bank, to Area A, the cities, the urban, dense population centers, in what would effectively, according to their stratagem, if it is executed, the cities would become cantons of Palestinian life that, from an Israeli military perspective, they think will be more easily managed. So the communities here have cultivated networks of co-resistance, have led Palestinian popular struggle campaigns for decades as part of efforts to resist this plan and resist this plan of forced displacement. And if we together, all of us here, were driving to Il-Kheir today, from Jerusalem, where I am, and to the south of the West Bank, we would drive on Route 317, first Route 60, then Route 317, in something that would look very much like this. On our right. Ahead of us would be the Israeli settlement of Carmel here. You can see the barbed wire, razor wire surrounding the settlement of Carmel. We would pass here the cement blocks that the army uses. Here they are, the cement blocks that the army uses as what's called flying checkpoints. Whenever the army decides, they put these cement blocks into the road and soldiers stand behind them, checking IDs and driver's licenses of Palestinians coming, denying people entry, monitoring their motion. This is all part of controlling freedom of movement. We would drive past cement blocks, still circling the Israeli settlement of Carmel here by laser wire, and then take a right turn into Umm Il-Kheir here. And as some of you have heard me say before, inevitably at this point would be surrounded by children and by the community and people coming out to greet you and welcome you to Umm Il-Kheir. This is us driving on the main road, and if we looked to the right, we would see the houses and tents and homes of the community in Umm Il-Kheir. Looking ahead, we would see the Israeli settlement of Carmel. Auda, do you want to talk to them about what they're seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, here it's the yellow gate, as we the people here call it. It's not the main gate of the settlement. It's just like another one, a secondary gate. They use it to easily go to their farms, like in a fast way. And this road passing from the middle of the village is just like a few meters from my house, for example. And settlers are using the road now. Army, they are using it now more and more, which is, I mean, like really crazy, because at night, once they come, they just make noise, and it's really close to the houses. And you cannot distinguish who will pass without problems and who will pass just to create problems. It's hard to know. So yeah, it's a big issue here now, this road.
Yeah, something I want to point out that I think some people here have been and seen this very scene themselves in person, but others who haven't been yet to Umm Il-Kheir, though inshallah they will be, might not understand what they're looking at quite. So this is the road we effectively came in on in the video in Umm Il-Kheir, the main road through Umm Il-Kheir. And this gate, this yellow gate, is the separation between Palestinian Umm Il-Kheir and the Israeli settlement of Carmel, which sits on 60% of Umm Il-Kheir's historic land. And as you can see here, they are permitted to build, they're connected to electricity, to running water, while Auda, his family, and the families of Umm Il-Kheir are not permitted to build, are not giving building permits. 99% of building permits are denied. And Auda, do you want to talk about what these electricity wires are and where they're going?
Yes, I mean, the electricity which you are seeing, it's like from the settlements passing over the village, over the people, going to their farms, which is at the entrance of the village. So the farms, the chicken farms have electricity 24 hours, while the people who are humans here, we are not allowed to get electricity. So all of our electricity, just like from solar panels. So the electricity from the settlement passing over the village to the farms, and the people are not allowed to get it.
Yeah, so it's a very stark to see and experience. And for me, this picture, this visual is one of the starkest, most clear visuals of segregation and apartheid that I've ever seen. The image of Carmel here and the infrastructure here that is not permitted by the occupation to Palestinians and to the village of Umm Il-Kheir. So this is the view straight ahead. And if we turn to our left, we would see the Umm Il-Kheir Community Center, which is a meeting place, as Auda mentioned, for children, summer camps, kindergarten, activist meetings, meals, Ramadan iftars, and on many, many occasions, if all of us together were in Il-Kheir today with Auda, we would be in a scene very much like this. Here we are, as so many times before and after, sitting in front of the community center, and here is Auda greeting us and talking with us exactly as he's talking with all of us today, telling us about recent development, what's happening, and about the steadfastness of the communities. And I guess, Auda, I want to turn towards some of the incredible things that you're managing to achieve as a community and moving forward, despite the incredible violence, despite the cellular attacks, despite the restrictions of the military regime. Because for me, what you personally and what all of you in Umm and Masafer Yatta have taught me is how to have genius and vision and creativity, even in the harshest conditions, as part of building dignity and justice. And despite all that you've described to us, um, you have a greenhouse that we've worked in together for years. Here you are leading us. This was already years ago, but there was another workday like this just 2 months ago, I believe. Here's the honeybee farm, and people on this call and on the Solidarity Network, who are part of this mutual aid and advocacy effort, have helped to rehabilitate in the last months the Umm honeybee farm. I was curious if you wanted to share about the honeybee farm and its history. When did it start? Why is it important? Why did you want to develop it? And how has it continued to today? Would you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, here in Al-Khair, I mean, like we believe that we should not ask, like the people for help if we will not help ourselves. So this is, I mean, like what we started to do with our friends since years. We did a lot of different things. We started with the community center, which is a really important place for all of us, especially for our children. I mean, they use it just like every day, and nowadays there is, like a big summer camp. And also, like we have a greenhouse. So unfortunately, I mean, like the greenhouse we were not able to use or to work on during the war, but finally, I mean, like we started, I mean, like to work there since, like a few months. It helped the community a lot. It helped a lot of different families. And then we started, like another project, which is like a honeybee farm. We started, I mean, like a few years ago, and I mean, like this year we continued with our friends here with Aries, and we have our bees, and it also like go for some families here in the community, for the people, and we harvested the honey just like less than 3 weeks ago. And yeah, I mean, like now we are in the process of selling the honey, and we use the money for I mean, like the people who are here, because the financial situation for all of the families, it's really hard since 7th of October, because there is no work, there is no salaries even from the PA. And yeah, there is no shepherding, there is no farming at all. So yeah, there is a lot of nice projects we work with. And to be honest with you guys, I mean, like we will not be able to succeed in these projects without our friends who helped, our friends who were on the ground with us, who worked with us, who planned with us. I remember when I was working, I mean, like with Aries about the beehive project. It took us a lot of time, and also, I mean, we were comfortable. We felt, I mean, like a trust. We were just like sharing things. So this is, I mean, like this is, I mean, like one of the relationships which we the Palestinians all the time try to build. Even, I mean, like building a relationship with the people who are staying here. It's easy, I mean, because it will happen fast, but also like it's difficult because for us we will not just like trust anyone in a fast way because of our situation. So yeah, I mean, we succeeded with these projects because of all of our friends who helped from, I mean, like different organizations like CGNV, all that's left. I mean, like our friends from Jerusalem, also Akhfa Tamim, a few Palestinian organizations, and also, I mean, a lot of individuals from everywhere, that who visited Al-Khair and who stayed in touch, and also like who helped. So yeah, the projects are really really important, but yeah, sometimes it's not easy to make them. You need to be really patient, and you have to have hope.
Auda told me that the honey harvest this year was particularly good and is excited for the pieces of wax that are going to be inside the honey. Unfortunately, we haven't found, and the village hasn't found a way yet to ship it internationally. If so, it would arrive to all of your doorsteps. But if anyone that's ever here, there's always honey from Umm available. Um, so there's so much to discuss, and Auda has touched on so much already. I saw some questions in the chat, and I just wanted to give the rest of the time for people to talk openly, to ask questions, share anything they want to with Auda. So if people can raise their hands through the Zoom emoji, I don't know what it's called, reaction, raise your hand, and I'll call on people to share anything they want to Auda or ask a question, make a comment, whatever it is you wish, and let's have an open conversation now. Yeah, so the floor is open. So I saw, Ellen, you had a question about what happened in San Francisco that we haven't touched on yet. Let me unmute you so that you can ask yourself. That's all
right. Hi. Oops. Can you hear me? Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you, Auda. I was there with Bill and Sue. I had the opportunity to meet your lovely wife. I think you were away that evening, but I had the opportunity to meet your beautiful newest baby and your other kids. So thanks for welcoming us into your home. I was wondering, and I think Sue, who's on the call, might wonder as well, what happened at SFO in June. We had heard from Eid that he was coming to the US to do some talks, and then we heard things went south at the airport. So would you feel comfortable sharing what happened that day?
Yeah, I mean that trip is like it was really weird since the beginning. And I mean it was for my personal dream to go to the States since years. I traveled to Europe, I traveled to many different places doing a lot of speaking tours, but it was, I mean, to the States, it was a dream because I'm going and I know people there. I know friends who are waiting me. I know who I'm going to see. So this time, I mean, like we were together. The trip was mainly for me. And then I asked Aid to join me, to travel with me because he has a visa. I mean, first of all, I mean, like passing the checkpoints from here to Jordan, it took us 2 days because there are 3 checkpoints. And then I mean, like we got to Jordan, then we traveled to Doha in Qatar, and from Qatar we traveled 17 hours to San Francisco airport. So we hear before that, you know, like the system now is different, what's going on, you know, like maybe they will just like ask you questions. We were prepared. We were really prepared. So when we were in the airport, I mean, we passed everything. We passed all of the officers, and once we reached the last, I mean, counter or the last officer, he asked about our passports, and he saw Eid's passport, and he saw my passport, and he said, "Oh, like it's your first time here in the States. We need to ask some questions." I said, "It's fine." So they took us to a room. And they started to ask questions. So I know the plan. I know the plan of the trip. Eid doesn't know everything because he was not involved in organizing that much. So I know all of the details. So once they asked us together, I was answering the question. I was saying that, yeah, okay, we will be in San Francisco 3 days. We will be, for example, in Washington for 5 days. We will be in Seattle. I was answering all of these questions and like who's the pointing person here and there. And everything was fine because all of the information which I gave, it's like real. I didn't lie. I didn't create anything. They asked me for like, why are you coming here to the States? I said I'm coming to talk about the Palestinians, to talk about our community, our children. And then they separated us. And then we felt there is something wrong. They separated us and they told us, you are not allowed to be with each other. You are not allowed even to look to each other. We will check your bags and then you will pass.
Wow.
So, yeah. Then they brought our bags and they checked our bags and nothing. It was nothing. And we thought that they will let us leave. Then they said, we will check your phones. The moment they started to check our phones, I mean, we were kind of pretty sure that we will not pass. Because I mean, like, there is no way to hide things from them. There is no way to hide things from them. And I mean, even there is no way to hide things from them. I mean, no need even to hide. So they found on Eid's phone, you know, like on a signal group, you know, like a talk between, you know, between me and Eid, and also, you know, like a lawyer. I mean, talking with him about advices, you know, advices because we are going to the States. I mean, I deleted Signal from my phone. So they found that on Eid's phone. And then they went crazy, you know. They went really crazy, and they said, how come you ask the lawyer, what are you hiding? We said we are not hiding anything, and just like, you know, like getting advices from the lawyer. It's not, I mean, like, it's not something, like, it's not a crime. And yeah, then they started to ask, you know, like us questions, but we are separated. I personally had 4 investigations, and Eid had 4 investigations. And I mean, like, every investigation, they ask you a lot of different questions. Literally, they ask the questions about everything. They ask the questions about your personal life, your family, your work, your friends, your international friends, the international activists also, they mentioned some of them. So they were asking a lot of different questions, and they took our phones, they took our money, our bags, everything, our passports, and we had nothing. And then they said, like, we will detain you 24 hours. I was asking them, I mean, we were traveling from Doha to San Francisco 17 hours. And we had the first investigation for 6 hours, then they detained us also like 24 hours. So I was asking them, you know, like, for a cigarette. They didn't allow me to get, you know, to smoke. And, you know, even to the bathroom, you need to ask before. And once we went to sleep, anyway, before we go to sleep at 1 in the morning, they told us the final decision: you guys will be deported tomorrow with Qatar Airways again to Doha, and you are banned from getting to the States for 5 years. No questions. You are not allowed to talk to the lawyer. You are not allowed to talk to your friends. And then I asked them, you know, like a favor. Okay, but tell our people who are waiting us that, okay, this is the decision. And they said, no, maybe we will call them tomorrow. I don't know. So then we went to sleep. What was really, really shocking, that we went to sleep. We were really dying at 2 in the morning, and we slept until 5. And the American officers, they were around us in the same room. They were just like worried and scared from us, from just like a civilians who have nothing that moment. And we will not do anything. On the next day, it was really weird, because on the next day, everything was different. Totally different. They were nice. They were polite with us. And they were, you know, like, asking us if you want coffee, if you want water, whatever, you know, like, we felt something wrong happening. There is something wrong. And then we got, you know, like an officer. She's like a supervisor or whatever. She's kind of like responsible for a big thing. She came and she said, like, Auda, and then, you know, like, I came. She told me they were 2. They sat with Eid before me, but I mean, I was not able to hear from Eid. We didn't talk. So then they asked me. They said, there is a lot of things going in our country. I was looking to your case since 6 in the morning, and now it's like 2 afternoon. I was looking to your case since 6 in the morning. There is something not clear, but there is something wrong. You don't deserve like all of this, and I'm going to remove the ban for 5 years, but you need to withdraw your application. And anyway, you are not passing this time.
Wow.
So it was kind of, I mean, like, 2 different things. In the first day, we felt that we are criminals. In the second day, I mean, like, yeah, it's like a mistake, whatever. And then, you know, like, it was another officer who said, it was like just like a friendly talk. He was, I mean, like, telling me, I know what's happening in Gaza. I know what's happening in the West Bank. I'm sorry for all of this, but I cannot change it. Then, you know, like, they took us, the officers, they took us to the plane. Anyway, we withdraw the application because it was no any other option. And then, you know, like, they took us, the officers, to the plane, and they were just like catching us until, you know, like, our seats on the plane. And we thought that they will give us our passports, our money, our phones, but they didn't. And, you know, like, we know nothing about everything. It was like one of our worst times ever. And then we went we arrived at Doha after 16 hours or 17 hours. And in Doha, in Qatar, we found also like another officers from Qatar waiting at the gate of the plane. And they took us They took us, they said, oh, you got evicted from the States. You are not allowed to be everywhere in the airport. And that moment, I mean, it was crazy because I was shouting to them, at least give us our phones. We need to eat. We need to use the bathroom. So once, I mean, like, they gave us our phones, you know, like we started to see that, yeah, like, first of all, there is a war. And, you know, like Iran and Israel, it's like a big war. I started to see messages from my family. They are seeing the rockets and they are really worried. They are really scared. It was kind of like a miserable situation. And also, it was no planes from Qatar to Amman because of I mean, because of the war. And we got, you know, like stuck there for less than 2 days. And we were not even allowed to do everything we want. I mean, if we want to eat, we need to go to ask them. They need to talk to a restaurant. I mean, there is no place to sleep. And then, I mean, on the next day, we found a plane to Amman. And in Amman, also, like, we got stuck 5 days. So it's a nightmare. It's really a nightmare. I wrote a really long article about it, but I didn't publish it yet. And yeah, like now, I will never give up. I will go to the States in a way or another. One day I will be in the States, and I have to tell all of my friends, the ones I know and the ones I don't know, I will tell them the reality. I will tell them that there are other people who are using your name to do something, you know, like to just like, you know, to make everything harder. There are other people who are carrying the same religion, but they are behaving in a really different way. How come? I mean, sorry for this, but it's hard sometimes to understand how come, you know, like our Jewish friends who support our communities since years are a Jewish people, and the settlers who are around are a Jewish people. Sorry for that, but sometimes it's really hard, you know, even to know and to think about it. So yeah, I mean, thanks for all of our friends who messaged me after that crazy trip. It's not a trip. It was just like a long traveling and, you know, like questions, investigations here and there. But yeah, now I'm in the process. Now I'm in the process with my other friends to apply again. And inshallah, I will do it. Inshallah, I will succeed.
Shara, and I'm sure some of the people on this meeting today and on this call will be there to greet you when you arrive. We don't have so much more time, and I just want to give a little bit more time to the few other people who had questions. Shireen, do you have a question? I saw before you did, I'll ask you to unmute.
هاي مرحبا عودة. يعطيك العافية. I was just wondering, as a Palestinian diaspora, I'm learning more about Palestine before 48. And I was wondering if you know a little bit of the history of Il-Kheir before the Nakba, what the village was like, what life was like.
Yeah, I mean, through the stories which we got from our ancestors, and I mean, like it just got passed from a generation to another generation. Most of the Palestinians, I mean, like who are related to our family, because our family is like a small branch from, you know, like a bigger tribe. We were living in Arad, and, you know, like we were living, you know, like in Beersheba. My small family. That time they were living in Arad, and, you know, like when the catastrophe took place, it was a war. People got killed, people got just like transferred. So I remember one of the stories which my mom used to tell me. She got it from her mom, that she refused to bring all of her chicken, all of her hens. She refused to bring them because she thought, yeah, like in a week we will be back. In 1 week we will be back. So I mean, like this week, you know, like it reached more than, you know, like 70 years. So yeah, I mean, we were there, we were living there. But I mean, like if you want to ask about, I mean, the long history, there's a lot of, I mean, like tales. I don't know what's right, what's wrong, but I mean, like until Arad, you know, like it's 100%.
And in the region, maybe I can send it to different people. There are maps from the 1840s, British maps also, that include on the map many of the villages that still exist today, that were already present and inhabited from people at first seasonally coming from Yatta and then permanent dwellings developing. So a long history in Masafer Yatta also. Unfortunately, we have time, I think, for one more question before needing to end today's Solidarity meeting until next month. Mel, I see you have a question. I'll ask you to unmute.
Yeah, really quickly, Auda, is your wife's hand okay?
Yeah, I mean, she's better now. She's alhamdulillah better. It well, I mean, like her medication, it was I mean, like a long one because I mean, like the fracture, it was I mean, like exactly in the joint where's the fingers. So it's like a sensitive place, but she's much better now, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. And congrats on the new baby. I think when I met you guys had 2 sons. So congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. I hope everyone here one day has a chance to meet Auda and the family and all the wonderful people in Il-Kheir. For now, unfortunately, I think we're out of time. Auda, do you have any last thought to close on?
Yeah, I mean, one last thing I'm gonna share. I mean, remember, we are not against religions as Palestinians. We are not against colors or nationalities. We are just like simple people, as I said before. We want, like your help, your support. We want your words. We want your messages. I mean, a message, for example, after any attack, a message after, like any problems. It means a lot. It really means a lot. Sometimes it means the world for us because sometimes you are in a position that you feel alone, and it's really the hardest feeling ever. So please, not only be in solidarity with the Palestinians, but also like act for their justice, do something for them. Let us do everything we can, and we like to stop all of the attacks by the settlers, by everything, because honestly we hated everything, we got tired from everything. And the life here is not a life anymore. Honestly, it's not a life. It's just like you are ready for, like something gonna happen and you don't know when. And thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for listening, for your questions. And inshallah, our ways will cross again.
Inshallah. And everyone here will be joining monthly, of course, for the Solidarity Network meetings. So we'll speak with you again and speak with others in Il-Kheir again, participate in globally coordinated actions and solidarity campaigns of different kinds. So we're excited to meet again, work together. And of course, if anyone here ever wants to reach out to Auda, just let me know and we can connect you as part of all this larger effort of sustained relationship building and solidarity across borders. Auda, thank you. I know there's so much happening, even in the minutes before this call with the bulldozer arriving, even during this call with settlers passing through. Thanks, Fred, for joining us today. And I'm excited for next time. So with that, I'll close just by saying if there's anyone who happens to be here who is not already a member of the Green Olive Solidarity Network or a Solidarity Circle and would like to join, you can find more information in the links I put into the chat. And join this larger effort to build direct relationships of sustained solidarity with Masafer Yatta and other communities in the West Bank. And I want everyone here, to know that this effort and this call today is part of building networks of co-resistance following the leadership of Auda, the other civil resistors on the ground. And we're excited to continue into next month with our next Solidarity Network meeting on the last Sunday of the month and upcoming campaigns to replant olive trees destroyed by settlers, rebuild homes demolished by the military, and in other ways respond to calls to action from the ground. So I hope everyone has good and peaceful days. Thanks again, Auda. Have a quiet evening, inshallah, and we'll talk to everyone next month. Have good days, everyone. Much thanks.